So lads, welcome to Oak Swamp and part 43 of the Austin 10 special wrap. Firstly this week I'd like to thank everyone who left a like and a comment, went to the tip jar or bought one of my snazzy Oak Swamp t-shirts. Thanks a lot dudes. Right, the Austin this week, I've got a big load of jobs I've got to be getting on with, but my main objective is to have him up and running again, and then I can give him a proper shakedown and take him up for a MOT. So without further ado, dog bones. So I've got to make a bracket that goes across there, down there, and then another leg down there, bolted through these two, and then a little dog bone in between. Okay, so I found some 5mm Baz would give me, so I'm going to use a bit of this.
Just the clothes on my back let me down. She gon' let me down. She was making promises by throwing them around. Took my heart, took my car and drove right out of town. Let me down. She gon' let me down. Long time gone. That girl of mine, she done me wrong. It's been way too long. Long time gone.
Right, so that's the idea. This will have 2 spacers in it, but I don't know if I like it or not. I've actually got another idea. How fickle am I? But it's got to be right, isn't it? So more on that later. Right, seats are all in. Now I'm gonna alter this remote shifter so it sits in right into there. I'm gonna cut this down and then Alright, so what I'm gonna do is drill through there, put a couple of riv nuts in there and then clamp that down, and that's clamped in between the seats there, so it's not gonna move.
Yep, 5 years later, was in another town. Gambling with some friends of mine, drinking, hanging out, never let me down, they never let me down. I stumbled from a table and heard somebody yell, "What's wrong with her?" That was that girl, all messed up, looked like hell, let herself down.
Right, I'm going to have to do this drag link now. So I'm going to head over in the woods and see if one of the lads wants to give up their drag link.
That girl of mine, she done me wrong.
I don't really want to take this one off because this car's coming next and I want to be able to get straight on with it, but oh, Maury here. Right, this is the Pitman arm. Yeah, look at that. This is exactly right. So they must be the same. Just got to get the bugger off now though. That is really good. That saved me a load of pain because I haven't got any idea where I was getting one from or anything yet. I left it till coming over here and have a look. Oh, that's easy to get off, and it's the right size. And what I've got to do now is find a bit of CLF and join it to that. Right, what I'm going to do is open them up and then I can get a definite size of it and see what I've got knocking around. I'm hoping I've got a bit of CLS somewhere, but I don't think I have there.
Long time gone.
There's some chunky old steel, look. So what I think I'm going to do is thread something in there just to make it tight. I'm not opening that door because it is rank out there. It is freezing cold and it's soaking wet. It's horrible. It's miserable. Right, the closest bit of CLS I could find is about 2.5mm, but it don't feel enough to me. It's the same OD, so that's quite good. So what I consider to do is I've got a bit of 12mm stud bar. I'm going to drill that out, put a 12mm thread in there, thread this onto there, so we got a nice long straight bar. Put this on, weld the pair onto that end, and do the same the other end, and then it'll be a solid old drag link. It shouldn't need adjustment anyway, but that's what I've got to do. So I've got to put a down in him. We better come over to this part of the garage. Noisy on. He's brand new and he's a good one. A brand new drill. I think what I'm going to do is stick one of my drills through. I've started sharpening them actually, and wang him down there first, and then I'll put that decent drill down afterwards, because I'd rather break this one than a brand new bugger. I bet you guys hate me using this cordless all the time, but don't worry, it's all going to be changing very shortly. My pillar drill will be back. Get this nice and straight. That's annoying, isn't it? Right, I'm just working through this engine, tightening everything up, getting all the bolts in. And there's something I meant to say about before when I built this alternator bracket. Now the alternator bracket sits there. Now obviously you've always got to keep them really nicely lined up. Now I put an extension on here, on the bottom end of this. This is the sort of movement you've got, so you can go either way. So if when the load's on it's a bit too much, you just bolt the screw up at the bottom and it gives it a little bit more grunt. You see what I mean there? Can you see there? But I've done this before on an alternator and it just gives you an extra little bit of help, because that's what we do. What I mean by little jobs that are hardly worth filming. See, look, these bolts here. I'm just going to cut them off. Now, there's tons of bits like that I keep doing. But you won't see it, you won't notice it unless I don't do it. Okay, so the drill's charged up. Let's carry on with it. And bleeding headphones off now. Come on, my mush. Going straight in. Now this, going in both ends like this, and then I'm going to weld this round here, don't forget, and weld it to that bit of CLS. This is going to be strong as you like. Where are you going, mush? Well, this thread's last, man. It's flying in there. Spaniel, one of the adjustables. Hold on, I'm just going to cut them off. Right, and then this bit, just slide over the top. Right, what this is also doing, these grease up via here, and it puts pressure on this, so it pushes up against the adjustment, so you've always got a tight track rod. Now that obviously went all the way through, so you will grease one end, you grease both. By putting this thread in, it's going to stop any grease coming up here as well. Right, I've whacked that in either end and I've cut it off to where I think's right. Now I've adjusted this steering so it goes to there. Now all I've got to do is get that bit of CLS and weld that on over the top. I'm going to level these wheels up and then put the steering in straight. A little bit of towing. I wonder how my towing guess would do, because I think I'm going to have to wrap this steering wheel. Well, that's rusted through. Quite sharp on the hands. I was thinking about roping, putting some of that white string around it, but it's a bit predictable, isn't it? It just clears up there as well. I'm happy with that. It's working really well. Like that. Oh, there you go. There's a bit missing. I'm assuming this was from the steering lock on the Triumph 2000 this came off of. But you can see you got about 2.5 mil. Just didn't feel enough to me, so what I do is chamfer all these edges, weld that, never ever coming off. And then weld these two on the end and that'd be it. But for the moment, ready to go. Next! Right, I've got to finish this handbrake off. Now, it's sat in there like that at the moment, but it really wants to be sat in there like that. Now, I only tack this together as a temporary. Now, I'm going to clean this up and move this whole section round a bit so it's in exactly the right place. that. This little bit is just tacked on here. I've got to take him off. He's not going to be in the right place. I think that's going to come off. Well, that was a bugger to get out. But once this is out, you just pop that up and out he comes. And you need to take him out if you want to drill some holes in it, which you know I do. Right, that's good. That's in a better position. There's the holes in it. This original steering column bracket, I was going to use an Austin ignition switch in here, but the Austin switch I had wasn't very good and it had lights on it, and this hasn't got lights on it, so it kind of like went that before. And I'm thinking about having it going a bit further and having to cut a hole so it fits over the column and then comes down. And then to fix it, I'm thinking what I might do is weld a bit to the steering column and then just have two little bolts that go in there just to neaten it up a bit, and this will be just one piece and no ugly bolts. I bought this ignition switch which will go there, and it'll have a red light next to it just to let you know the ignition's on. I've looked everywhere for my headphones. I could have cut this out 4 times in the times I've been looking. I've been inside everywhere. Where did I get? I've got 2 sets in there, but I'm trying to get salvage some sort of protection via these nice pink ones, which are crap. They don't offer much protection at all. But better than nothing, I suppose. Hello. I found some metal detecting ones. These look a bit better than them pink fuckers off. Go and get my C-scope. Oh, that's better. Better than nothing. That's the nearest size, but it's a bit small. Or I got that size, which is a bit big. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take it the smaller size and then die grind it out, and then I can get it bang on, because I want it to slip over nice and tight, you know what I mean? Right, so that's kind of where it wants to be, so I'll bung him straight in there. One thump or 2, sir. 2 for me. And he got all the way through with that bugger. Look at he. Don't forget the balloon. You reckon, what are the chances? Be nice if it goes straight on there. No, wait, look at that. Ah, lovely. As tight as you like. Ribbed it. And what I heard for sound, these are metal detecting headphones. Yeah, I had a metal detector, took it all over Oak Swamp, and do you know what I found? Bugger all. Right, I bolted that in there and there's no moving it, it's too tight. I put a twist on this so it lines up with this. So now I've got to put this fella in, and I'm thinking probably just there. I got this light that came off the Austin. I hope it's going to work with a decent bulb, but it's glass, you know what I mean? It's too nice not to use, so that'd be there. That'd be there, that'd be there. Yeah. Lovely. I gotta get this bulb in there now and then add some bit more shape to this, because it looks a bit feeling this at the moment, so I'm gonna nibble away. So, I mean, just that little bit made it look so much better. Yeah, that looks way more French. That's cute, man. Okay, happy with that. And look, it didn't want to move. I've got the feeling I want to put a little tag on here with one bolt in though, just to make sure, because I can't help it. Belt and braces and all that. My shins can be as fat as you like now and it won't matter. I think I can get on with the wiring now. I want to do this in black cable if I can. I've got some brown and I've got some blue, so I'm going to have a hunt around in a minute. Right, I better go in and get something to eat. Oh no. Those were just sat down there. It's a time when you're not looking for them. Blimey, I nearly forgot tip jar. It's about 2:30 in the morning. But we have Keith Glacier and Rangy Man. Cheers, boys. I've got to replace this spring in here because it's not springing back anymore, but I've got an idea for that. I'll show you in a minute. But because these are cable brakes, obviously I can't have a hydraulic switch to do the brake light, so I'll be using this one which came off the car, and basically all it does is make a contact in there. Look, as you pull up it makes a contact between the two. I'm thinking about putting him here, then running a piece of metal down off of this, so then as you pull the brakes, there you go, and the spring's on there, so if the brakes go further, you don't bust it off. Okay, so what I've done is I've bent a bit of metal round a bit of 8mm, enough to turn the old brake lights on. Oh yeah, that's alright. I can live with that. I think what I'm going to do is make this again, but with a slightly longer arm, so it pulls it dead straight. So I need to find a bit of steel. Finally, I've come up with the way I'm going to do it. I found this bit of, I don't know what it's off, but that fit over there, and that rang down like that. And what I'm going to do is put a little grub screw. That'll make it look a lot neater, and it looked like it grew there. So my mate Sean's popping round in a minute. Might remember Sean from Where's My 13mm Spanner channel. He's got the Exo Booster, where he's popping round because he loves doing wiring and he loves doing soldering. So he's going to pop over and give me a hand. There's not really a lot of wiring, it's not very intensive, but it's always handy when someone gives you a hand. I'll use that little bugger for a minute. I think I might get a little fun turn, little wing nut to get on there. And while I'm here, I need to liven this up a bit because it's just a little bit too tight. This is sitting there, and then you just do the grabby up on him, like so, like fucking so, and it's given me a nice bit of metal that looks sort of more the part than that. So that's going to sit somewhere like that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that end off there and just curl that round a bit, and then I'll put a bolt through that and that'll be bang on. So Sean's here.
Hi-yo.
And we're just having a look. Now I'm just about to tell him what I need doing. Right, this is the extent of the wiring. We got a fan, right, which is going to be on a switch. Obviously the ignition wiring. I fitted a brake light switch this morning. This is what I've been doing today. That does a bit of that, you see.
Something like a motorbike one.
Exactly. But I just made it 3 times and came up with that in the end. So we're going to be coming in and out of there.
Right.
I've got a new switch for it.
Alright, you got the same switch as I got on my car.
I got it for about £4 on eBay.
Yeah.
The key was rusty, so I kind of liked it. And then fuel pump. Yeah, excellent. We've got any little ones as well. Oh yeah, perfect. Right, so I think I'm going to stick that up in there because it's tucked away. Sean suggested we use double-sided tape, and I ignored him. I'm going to make a tiny little aluminium plate that goes on the back of here, which bolts to this. You left your glasses behind. Try these ones, because I have got more of those.
I'll be able to see it. Oh, do you know what? Yours can't be that far out.
They're 1.5s.
That should be mid-position. It should be. When I watched UK Pink Floyd last night over in Pompey.
Were they any good?
Yeah, not bad. We've got no connection to anything. So that click on.
I'm just doing it temporary while Sean's here because we've got to get on, but that's going to be the idea. Right, there you go, Sean. We have a fuse box. Right, so there's the battery. I think it'd look neater if it was round that way. I'll tell you for what.
Strangely satisfying about heat shrink.
Oh, I love the heat shrink. It looks better with that heat gun, doesn't it? I always use a fag lighter, you know what I mean? Getting shrinky, baby. Have you fucked it up, Sean? He's only been here 2 minutes. Me and Sean have been having a discussion, and he did it on his channel. He did a video on it actually. When doing your vehicle wiring, do you solder the ends on, you know, like your spades, or do you crimp them on? Now, Sean had massive discussion on your channel about that, didn't you? What happened?
I had all sorts of stuff. People telling me that I was right. NASA, who say crimp, don't solder. British Aerospace for aircraft stuff, crimp, don't solder. And then I had people telling me I didn't know what I was talking about and I was a fucking idiot.
But regardless of all that, what's your outcome? What do you reckon?
Crimp.
You think crimp? For what reason?
When you solder, you effectively turn a multiple strand wire into single strand, which is then brittle.
What do you think? Leave a comment below, let us know what you reckon. Should you solder or should you crimp? I'm not doing either. Sean's doing it. First nut going in. I'm just going to test these wires as we go. So what I'm going to do is use the scissors off of here as an earth and... Right, so this hairy bit, this is the original bit. I'm going to take him from there. So we need to cut off just there. I'll go and hacksaw this off. And I'm hoping I've got enough of this to do the other bit. So we got hairy all the way. Hairy! Yeah, that's alright. Right, we just need an end for this, didn't we? Oh, look at that! Right, we're still at it, and we're still ploughing away. And as you can imagine, doing wiring is quite boring from a filming aspect. But Sean is going to do a nice little dance just to make the moment.
I don't do dancing.
Oh, come on, Sean. There you go. Beavering away there, Sean. But we're getting there with the wiring. All the major components are wired up now. And it looks like it's going to rain, so I'm going to wheel him indoors and then I'm going to get up and tidy all this wiring up. I think Sean's got to go home, isn't he, Sean?
Yep. Tea time for me.
Tea time. Thank you very much, sir. Right, I'm starting to get there now. All of that love's going down there, tidying it up as I go to give these boys a little bit of heat. I've used a few zip ties here, look. Can you see that? Can you forgive me? Just like that. I'll trim them all off, but it just makes life so much easier. So I've got the fans connected up, all the ignition, the alternator. I'm just about to put the coil on, but that's going to go in something like that. All of this here is held together by the little zippies at the moment, but what I'm going to do is wrap that in insulation tape. It's perfect. That means we're getting power to the solenoid. I've just got to make the hairy one fit between there and there, and we'll be ready to roll there. Right, moving on to the back light. I've tried this LED light out, and it's very directional. And when I put it in here, it just didn't look right because you're just getting light from one point of source. So I'm going to try that later with a candlescent type bulb. Just so I've got that light, I've got one of these side lights, and that fit into there, and it won't look bad, and it's tiny. I'll get rid of these ears off of it, so it'll squeeze into there. Oh! Continuing on with this idea of getting this bulb into here, what I thought about it is loads of these stainless things, but it's got a nice bit of rubber. It's got a little channel and a little lip, so if I could get that in there and do something like that, let's see if it goes. There you go. Do you know what I mean? Look, you can see the bulb there, look, it's right in the middle. But that's sitting there, and it's really understated under there, so I'm thinking probably what I'm going to do is put the other one that side, because I think brake lights are important, and I'm considering doubling these up as indicators, getting another pair of these, or using these on the front indeed, but getting another pair and sticking them just on the cowl and just use them as indicators and brake lights. I'll do it the American style. I know it's not strictly legal. It's not like I'm going to be driving up the A34 every week in this. I've got to be honest, I've got no want to take this on any major roads at all. I don't like going out there, it's just like traffic and sitting. But my point is, this is built for lightness and like a race car, I suppose. So that's going to be its environment, I think, imposing at car shows. Hey, there she goes. Right, the remainder of old Harry looks like it isn't going to make it, because look. Bye-bye, old Harry. And I've got to put this black, and I've got ends. This end's actually alright, so I'm going to keep that end. That end's a bit battered around anyway, so that one can come off and I'll re-put it on. What do you reckon, Joe? I'll get a horse through it with these knips. Yeah, you fucker. Let's stay with these. You can see where I've hit live cables with them before. Right, let's get this fella off. It looks like he's been soldered on. Leave open. And that seems a bit futile, you know. Using even old stuff like this, you know what I mean, when there's only a quid up the road, but I've got to go and get it, or I've got to order it. I don't want to do either of those things. I'd rather just make it fit. What I have got to go out and get though is some fittings for the fuel tank. What I'm going to do is start in on the little tank, just check everything's alright, check all the wiring. Put a bit of heat shrink over these ends just to cover that little bit up there, look. Okay, so when I made this coil bracket, I made it ready to take a bit of nice leather, like this. And then what it does, it isolates the coil from the strap. There's a nice bit of stitching on it, so what I think I'm going to do, cut the bottom off for the minute and see what it looks like. Nice bit of leather this. I use this on my bobber seat. I'll give it to a matey and he made a sound job of it. Look really good. What do you reckon? It looks quite good like that, doesn't it? So now I can bolt him up. Right, so this is the throttle linkage, and I've got a couple of jobs to do on here. I'm going to clean up this this scary weld. I'm going to put a hole through here. I'm going to put a thread with a little nut just as a stop. I've got to weld a spoon on this end. Yes, you heard me right, a spoon. The hook had a spoon and this is having a spoon. Try and wrap your head around that one. It's been really blowy. We've had a bit of a storm here the last couple of days. If I don't lose any trees. Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? I really want to tack this one on because I actually want to get a silver one for it. But there's been no jumble sales or anything for me to go and find one. Not that I actually go to jumble sales, but you know what I mean. Right, spoon. Spoony spoon. That will act as a throttle stick against the bulkhead. I don't really like that spoon, but it'll do for the minute. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is give Ian a little bit of drink out of this. He ain't got no water in him. I'm going to just give him a little fire with all this wiring as is. Ian? Okay, I got to where I wanted to. Now he's all up and running again. I can give him a proper tune. Still got loads of little bits I've got to carry on catching up with. I've still got to finish this fuel line, but that's just a case of going to get in some fittings. Also, I've got to get some rubbers for the shock absorbers, front and rear. I've ordered 2 switches for the fan and the fuel pump, and I'm going to sort out the little red light that's going to go on there. Also, before he goes out in the public, I want to trim up everything a little bit because everything's still in its bare form, and I just want to tidy up some edges. I've got to put the horn on too, which I'm really looking forward to. Next week I'm going to be doing testing and tuning and generally giving him a shakedown, and I'm going to be taking him to Wheels Day at Aldershot next Friday, weather permitting. This will be the Rat's first public appearance, so I'm interested to see how that goes. If you see me down there, come up and say hello. I'd love to chat. But if you want to see all that, you're going to have to tune in next time. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the old subscribe button now. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like and a comment. If you're feeling flush, leave me a couple of quid in the tip jar. Better still, buy one of my snazzy Oak Swamp t-shirts, and I will catch you dudes next time. Hang loose.